Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off, online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, and with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we're joined by a very special guest, Binghamton Black Bears goaltender Riley McVeigh. Riley is in his first full season of professional hockey after having played in the Federal Prospects Hockey League this season with the Binghamton Black Bears, as well as getting a little stint in the Southern Professional Hockey League with the Evansville Thunderbolts after finishing his year out with NCAA Division III's University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. Last season, Riley played in the MJHL over the course of his juniors career and has spent 4 years of NCAA Division III college hockey with Stevenson University as well as University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. So I'm really excited to get you on, Riley. So welcome to the show, Riley McVeigh.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It's been an episode in the making for the last couple weeks that I wanted to get you on. So I'm glad you picked up the phone and we were able to schedule some time to have you on.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, so I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, so generally I like to start with going like youth hockey to college hockey to pro, but I want to like flip it around right off the hop and just go right for pro right now. So you're hot off a win from yesterday, a 7-4 win against the Watertown Wolves. Like how's everything been, and how was the game yesterday?
Good. Yeah, I mean the game yesterday was pretty good. It's just I know it's kind of like your classic Federal Hockey League game, lots of scoring chances. But the boys, we had a great. It was a 1 goal game going into the third, so we had a great third period and played shutdown D from there. So it was really good to get that win, and it's big for us in the standings, chasing Danbury ahead of us. So it was a really important win.
Yeah, absolutely. And like this is like your first season of like full professional hockey. You had that stint in the SB last year. It's like how do you think like personally this season's gone for you and the Binghamton Black Bears?
I think we've had a great season so far. We just recently went through a little bit of a slump. There we lost 5 in a row, and I believe we lost 7 of 10. So it was a little bit of a tough stint. Obviously, we ran into some good teams, Carolina and
Yeah.
Columbus. But really, we have a good group of guys, so that's kind of the biggest thing, and we're definitely able to pull it around and got a pretty good schedule the rest of the year. So hopefully, we're able to attack on some wins and keep the pressure on Danbury, like I said, in front of us.
Yeah. So like how do you handle those ups and downs when like you guys go on a skid, like you may not be seeing as much playing time or you're getting like lit up when you are in that. So like how do you handle those ups and downs, especially as a first year pro?
I think the biggest thing that I've kind of recently learned, even in the last couple of weeks, is it's a big mental game. It's a big
Yeah.
change from college, obviously coming from 25 games. Um, Here with that 56 game schedule with way more travel. It's definitely, it takes a toll on your mind and your body this time of year. I didn't really start to realize it until the last couple of weeks, but I think honestly the biggest thing is just kind of like pushing it behind you. So in a tough loss or tough game, like there's still lots of hockey left and there's lots of games in the year, so those games are going to happen where
Yeah.
obviously maybe you're not the best, or maybe your team's kind of has a rough game or whatever. But I think honestly the biggest thing is just to push forward and just look forward to the next game every chance you get, and just not dwell on the past.
Yeah, I think that's huge, especially like I have like a midnight rule. Like as soon as it hits midnight, like I'm not focused on the game that I just played. Like it's all about the next game and just doing whatever I can to like mentally and physically prepare for that next game, whether that be the next night or like maybe like a week away. Like you just gotta stay in and just figure out like how to stay mentally sharp and physically sharp as well throughout that week.
Yeah, that's a great rule. Kind of just like you said, just after midnight, bury it, and what's done is done, and just look forward to the next game and what you got to do to perform at your best level the next week.
Yeah, exactly. And like, how are the bus trips? Because like I know like it's a long bus. There's some long bus trips there. It's like how do you stay like
Mhm.
recovered and all that, especially like when you are on the bus for 15, 16 hours, whatever it is.
Yeah, so we're in that Empire division, so the North division here in the Fed. The travel isn't too bad for us, honestly. Like we have Elmira an hour away, Watertown 2 hours, Delaware, and it's like four, and then we got Danbury, which both 3.5, 4. So our travel is pretty good. The only time we really run into long travel is out of division.
Yeah,
So next weekend we go to Motor City there, just north of Detroit, and that's like going to be like 10 hours. So I honestly, like, it's nice, you leave Thursday the day before, get you in kind of around dinner time, and then I think the biggest thing is just like making sure you're taking care of your body, because if you're
yeah,
not, it's the your legs and your hips and stuff like that sitting on the bus for that long. Um, and obviously we don't have first class buses, as you can imagine. So you got to make sure you're taking care of your body and just stretching out. And then obviously generally on the road we have morning skate Friday, which really helps too.
yeah.
And then when you come back home, you generally get in kind of in the morning of Sunday, and like Monday is generally a big recovery day. So just try to get to the rink, and if it's a light workout or just kind of hopping on the bike and stretching,
Yeah,
that definitely helps.
the minor leagues, you gotta love the minor leagues and all the travel and everything like that's what makes for the best moments. But yeah, recovery is huge, especially when you are traveling 10 plus hours on a bus when you're crammed up in a seat. So just gotta do whatever you can to get the body going and get it recovered.
100%.
Yeah, but like throughout this year, like you started out as a third string guy and you worked your way into a starting role. So like when you were a third string, like what did you have to learn, especially like getting right into the Fed? Like what do you have to learn to help yourself move up and help like go from like the third string role to the backup to eventually to the starting role?
Yeah, obviously this year has been a little bit of a roller coaster for me. I know I started in Evansville in training camp, and then after that, the Evansville coach actually sent me to Columbus. So I was in Columbus for about 4 days. They ended up getting their goalie back from last year,
Yeah.
and just with talks with their coach and whatnot, and who they had signed throughout the summer, I think we kind of just both mutually agreed that it'd be best for me to go somewhere else. And I was kind of at the point where um, I really just wanted to get games in,
Yeah.
no matter where it was. And I just, in Columbus there, they had two amazing goalies at the time, and they still do have great goaltending there. And I was just more just looking to get some games. So I actually got traded to Binghamton. I was coming into a spot where they had two returners already. So I didn't really know what to expect, to be completely honest. I didn't really know much about the league, or any players really in the league. So when I got here, I just tried to make the best of it and kind of get better every day in practice, and just kind of claw my way up. But yeah, like you said, when I first came in here, Owen and Shep were ahead of me there, and two great goalies. But I think like the biggest thing was just like compete level, like
Yeah.
just showing up every day and just competing as hard as I can, and then trying to bring that into games. So
And I feel like especially like as a third string, like that's your game's practice. So you just got to bring that compete and battle like even to like 110%. Like you can't take a shot off or anything. You just got to go full on, full power throughout the entire practice just to get coached to notice you and then move your way up.
exactly, yeah. I think that's a big thing. Is I'm a big believer like practice how you play. So
Yeah.
you can bring bad habits from practice into games. So I think the more focused and dialed and hard work ethic you can have in practice, it definitely translates over to a game.
Yeah. So like what are some of your like practice habits that you bring into that you brought into this season and just like worked on and tweaked and really brought into like or like no like have like a practice system?
I think the biggest thing is kind of like what I touched on already, just treating every shot like it's important.
Yeah.
I know like it's hard in practice when you're doing like the 3 puck drills and you're seeing a ton of shots and you're kind of bagged by the end of it. But
Yeah.
I think honestly the biggest thing is just every chance you get, just take that puck as if you're in a game. And if there's something you got to work on, I generally like to like designate the first couple of drills to really focus on that and almost over exaggerate what I'm trying to work on. So that hopefully just kind of kicks into my brain and gets going from there. But I really just think it to me it just all comes down to compete and
Yeah.
taking every shot serious.
Yeah, and like that's like something I like to have as well. Like no matter if it's practice or game, just like battle and compete. Like I could have no shot on one shot, but I'm still gonna make every effort to make that save. Like whether that be desperation or just like a rebound backdoor, like I'm still gonna go out of my way to try to make that save and like make the boys work for every goal they get.
Yeah, exactly. Make the boys work. I like that. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely takes you far when you bring those habits into practice. Because in a game, what are you gonna do? Give up on the play that's going back door? No, you're not. You're gonna try to make that save.
Exactly. Yeah. And even like on like desperation plays, like if you do them enough in practice, it can become a somewhat of a routine save where you can have somewhat format and it's a normality at that point if you've already made it 3 or 4 times during the week in practice. So you
Yeah,
know what to do when you get in a game.
yeah. It's easy and routine at that point. Like you don't have to think about it. It's just goalie instincts right away.
Exactly. That's yeah. Your instincts just kick in, and I mean at that point, hopefully you make the save.
Exactly. Love that. But then you transition into that starting role. So like what was that those first few games like, especially as a starter when you are seeing those games and getting those benefits that came with practicing for so long?
um, I really think the biggest thing. So we were in kind of like a three goalie system when I first got here. So the coach at the time was did give me a chance to play. Um, And I just think it took a little bit of an adjustment to get used to that whole three goalie system, especially in games. I had it in practice in college,
Yeah.
but in games, it's just a little different when you're sitting out. You're not dressing for games and you're backing up and you're playing. I think that just took a little bit for me to get used to. And honestly, something that I'm still not really used to. I would say that even to this day, it's something that I still like just like it could just almost like throws you off your routine when there's a game or two where you're not dressing for and then you're playing and then
Yeah.
backing up. But I kind of think right as I settled in, my first game was against Danbury, and it was I mean it was a hard game. They were the best team in the league. That we lost in overtime, but it was a
Oh.
good game in their barn, and they have some interesting fans there. So but it was a fun game, and I think after that game, um, I kind of like showed myself that I can play, and I did get a little bit of confidence. And kind of crazy story on how I ended up uh, starting here was we were in Elmira, which is only 45-50 minutes away
Yeah.
from us. And I wasn't supposed to dress, but I still wanted to come. So I came, and me and a few of the other guys that were scratched before the game went and grabbed some food just from a block over, and we're hanging out. And as I was coming back to the rink, everybody was like, "Where's Riley? Where's Riley?" And I was like, "What's going on? Like, everything good?" And Shepherd at the time, he ended up getting food poisoning
Oh,
during warm-ups.
oh,
So he ended up, yeah, unfortunately was not able to play. I felt terrible for him. Obviously, starting a game and getting food poisoning, that's
yeah. It's not
not what
not
you
the
want.
ideal situation.
Yeah. And then so they're like, my gear was there. So I was like, great, I'll back up, no problem. So got dressed, met the boys as they were going out on the ice. So like just in time, like just sweating from getting dressed. And was just sitting there on the bench. And about 8 minutes later, I was in the game. Um,
Wow.
honestly, I think that that really helped me. I didn't even have time to think. And yeah, we ended up winning the game. I think I stopped 34 of 34. So it was really interesting. But I think it like that like really showed me. I was like, like I have the capabilities to
Yeah.
play here, and that kind of gave me a little bit of confidence, just like even being so unprepared. So
Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes when those situations are the best if you just put into the game because you're like you said, you're not thinking and you just got to go in there and like stop the pucks stop the next shot that's coming at you and then just continue that on for 34 more saves.
yeah, exactly. It was just one of those moments where it's like I didn't have time to think. It was like you just got to stop the puck and not even think about anything else. So yeah,
What was your emotions after you got that first pro win on like a situation like that where it's like you didn't even think you were going to play and then you ended up getting into the game and
yeah,
getting your first win?
yeah. It was awesome. I was honestly, I until the end of the game, I was still like a little like shell shocked of everything that had happened. I was still like, I'm actually playing
Yeah.
right now because obviously, like you said, like you don't think you're going to be playing when you're scratched.
Yeah.
Um, so it was awesome though. It was a lot of fun. And then obviously after the game, it was a good feeling to get that first one out of the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like everything's just out of the way now, and like you just continue on doing what you're doing, and knowing that you can play at that level and get a win. So like, welcome. That's a welcome to the Fed moment for sure.
Yeah, that was very very welcome to the Fed. So
Nothing like the Fed, that's for sure.
no, can't beat it.
Yeah. But but last season you got a little stint in the SB as well as
Mhm.
like you said earlier with in training camp this season you were in Evansville. So like what was your first like taste of pro hockey like in the SB in Evansville right after signing out of school?
It was really good to be completely honest. I loved my time in Evansville. I was there for 2 weeks at the end of last season, but then this year for about two and a half, three. Um, and I loved Evansville. Awesome rink, good group of guys, great living conditions, a nice city. Didn't really have any complaints about it. It was kind of nice last year to get that experience that I did. Like even though I didn't
Yeah.
play in a game, I got to sit on the bench and then practice, obviously, and that just kind of showed me, like especially going into the summer, like what level I have to be at to excel at that level. So it kind of just gave me like a general idea of what I was getting into this year and
Yeah.
kind of like your first taste of pro hockey and what it's like kind of on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and like you just learn so much. Even in like the 2 weeks you're there, you're probably learning so much more than you thought you ever would. And then it translates into this year where you're in training camp with them. It's like what do you think's like the biggest differences from like the SP to the Fed?
Um, I would say for the most, or I'd say the largest difference is the SP is more structured. You're definitely gonna have more systems in place. Not saying that we don't have systems, they're
Yeah,
just more, I would say they're run more and at a higher rate.
yeah,
So definitely like it's more systematic hockey. And then obviously your top players are good players. Like those are guys that are climbing at the coast there, and some of them have had years of experience in the coast. And I think that that would be the major difference. And then I think the level of hockey was obviously was higher, a little bit quicker. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought the SV was really good hockey and like a pretty cool league. So
yeah. And like it just like proves that as you go up the levels, like everyone gets like the game just gets like faster and faster, and like guys can shoot the puck and like hit their spots a lot more. Like my goalie coach and I, like we always say, like you haven't seen good until like you actually go up a level, and then like it's a whole new different way of good hockey players, and then you go up another level and it's the same thing. So it's crazy how many good hockey players there are at every single level. Like there's guys that can take that next step that are still playing at like the level below or whatever, and it's just crazy to see that difference and from like league to league.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's I mean, a lot of guys want to play nowadays, right?
Yeah.
It's a fun thing to do. So and there's good hockey players everywhere coming out of Division 1, Division 3, even club hockey. There's
Yeah.
great goalies and great players coming from everywhere. So like it really shows you like there's a lot of work to do at every single level in order to get better, in order to advance.
Yeah, so like you've gone up the rankings from youth to juniors to college to pro. So like what are some tips that you give like guys trying to make that jump to the next level, whether that be whether the junior route, the college route, or going into pro?
I would say the biggest thing, every single time you're trying to jump a level, at least for me, I was always looking ahead. So like when I was in grade 12, I was just looking forward to playing juniors. I was looking like 3, 4 months in advance, like, oh, like junior A teams are going to start talking to teams
Yeah.
in February. You know what I mean? So like I was always looking ahead. Um, and I think important just to kind of just stay in the moment and just make sure you're focused on when you're in a game, you're just focused on the next shot, the next 5 minutes. Um, I would say that was honestly the biggest thing that I noticed, and I still do it too today. I still look forward to and instead of just living in the moment, kind of playing it out. And the other piece of advice that I'd probably give is it's not bad to reach out to places that you want to go.
Yeah.
Um, like when I played juniors in Manitoba, I reached out to them and sent them an email, and they got back to me, and they had somebody that was injured that couldn't come to camp, so I was able to get in that way. And then even in the SP, like I was reaching out to teams myself, and they were getting back to me and whatnot. But I really think that if you want to keep jumping the ladder, there's nothing wrong with reaching out yourself.
Yeah, and you're just being like a big advocate for yourself because no one like sure you have like your goalie coaches and everyone, but like you can only do so they can only do so much. But if you're confident in yourself and believe that you can play at the whatever level you're trying to go to, like be an advocate for yourself and have that confidence to go in and tell a coach that I'm confident that I can help your team in whatever way, whatever role that is. And it just you never know what's gonna happen. Like just like you said, like a goalie was injured and now you get an invite to camp. Like you never know.
Exactly, yeah, and it's like, and even if your agent talks with the team too, there's nothing wrong with you sending something off too, and just shows to me it shows that you just want to play there, and I've always had success with
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to jump in your college years a little bit here. So you played 1 year at Stevenson University. So like what before going to University of Eau Claire? So like what was the process like to commit to Stevenson from juniors?
Yeah, it was obviously I only played 2 out of my 3 years at juniors. I think during my second year I was just kind of ready to go to school. Um, so after my second year in Virden, I was able to have some success, and I talked to Stevenson actually the year before too. So that had been 2 years in a row I talked to them. And then I thought, why not go out and check it out?
Yeah.
So I went down, and the school there, it's a beautiful school. It is really, really nice. So I went out and checked it out, and I really, really liked it. So it kind of made my decision easy. I was ready to go to school, and they were ready to take me. Um, so I went there for the year, and I kind of knew, I'd say, kind of in and around this time, just before playoffs, that I was going to be going to Stevenson the next year.
Yeah. So like you jump into Stevenson and you jump into college hockey right away. So like what was that transition going from junior hockey to college hockey and like and playing playing games at a higher level, and like college hockey, like everyone loves to play and like just trying to work their way up the rankings. So like, what was that transition like?
Um, I would say honestly, the biggest thing was I noticed is it went from less rough to more skill.
Yeah.
Obviously, the MJ is probably one of the tougher leagues in Canada.
Oh yeah.
So the level of hockey got more skilled, and I just kind of it was quicker. So the two biggest things I noticed, like obviously with a higher skill level, quicker, and I just had to adapt and just those saves that I'd make in juniors, like those backdoor, like stretched out saves, like I wasn't making them anymore. I noticed the first like couple weeks, so I just kind of had to start to get a little bit ahead of the play a bit. I think it was just kind of more of a learning curve for me, and once I was able to do that, I found success.
Yeah, that's a big like transition period, especially going from that level to like a more skilled and like quicker league, and it's not like run and gun anymore. Like you're just following the systems and everything. Not saying that junior high doesn't have systems, but like it's like more skilled and you have to be ahead of the play because you never know. Like maybe a bang shot and you have to make that save right away.
Exactly. And then you're just dealing with guys that are older too, right? Like
Yeah.
you're going from 16 to 20 and now you're dealing with 21 to 25, right? So
Yeah.
guys are older. Like guys are men, right? Like there's some
Oh
guys that
yeah.
are 24 years old that are big boys and they've been playing hockey for that 4 years of experience on you. So
Yeah, and you got a lot of playing time that first year as a freshman. Freshmen usually don't get 23 games like you did. So like what was it like going in right away as a starter and playing majority of your team's games?
it was good. First game I backed up, and then the second game from there I played out the rest of the year. I sprained my ankle at the end of the year, so I missed a week and a half there. But it was good. I think college is I like the college schedule. Just playing on weekends. It's the same as here, obviously, but just less games. Um, and yeah, I found that once I was kind of able to get into a role and like kind of knew like yeah, like again, kind of the same as here, like you can play at this
Yeah.
level. And just kind of mentally getting that my head right in between balancing school and hockey. And just kind of getting on a roll, I was able to have some success, luckily.
Yeah, and I love that. And like that's like my mantra, like my go-to saying like in a game is you can play. Like is if you believe like you can play and like you like no matter if you go up a couple levels or what, like if you believe it, you're gonna be able to do a lot more than people would think.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that to an extent you have to have obviously to play any kind of competitive sport. I think at least most of us, you got to kind of have a little bit of that attitude that you're like,
Yeah.
oh, like I'm good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily think you have to be cocky to people around you or
Yeah.
kind of make that apparent. But if you tell yourself in your own head, like, hey, like you're a good goalie, you can play, just relax and just play the game. Like you grew up playing it since you're a young kid, so there's a reason you're here, and just
Oh
have
yeah.
some fun with it.
Yeah, I love that. Like, there's nothing better than that, and just being able to ride that line within yourself to help boost your confidence and boost how you play.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like as in for college hockey, like you're balancing school, your social life, and college hockey, all three within the within the college ranks. So like what was that balance like, and like did you have like a good balance that you found?
Yeah, I found that, to be completely honest, in high school, I was an all right student. I wouldn't say I was anything special, but I got good enough grades where I was
Yeah.
able to get into most schools. Um, didn't really enjoy school as much
Yeah.
back then, but when I hit university, I don't know if it was something that just clicked in me, or it was a subject I was more interested in. But I was able to really start enjoying going to class and going to school, which is something I thought I never would.
You're only in
Um,
class for like an hour 20, hour 30 at most.
exactly, it's
It's
nice.
easier.
Like it's exactly you're in class for 50 minutes, you get a 10
Yeah.
minute break, you get another 50-minute class, and you're done for the day.
Yeah.
like, and it's on subjects that you're interested about and want to learn more about. Um, so I kind of found after my first couple weeks of practice, I kind of got used to like, okay, like, so I have classes in the morning, practice in the afternoon, and then we generally had workouts just before classes.
Yeah.
So I'd go workouts, classes, hockey. I'd be done at about 3 or 4, and I kind of just got into a good routine of coming home and schoolwork done before dinner. So anything that I had to do was done kind of before 6:37, and I'd eat, and I'd have the rest of the night to do whatever I wanted. So obviously there were some times where, you get a little behind or there's a lot of
Yeah.
work to do.
Hmm.
But I thought the balance is pretty good. And especially being around a bunch of guys that are on the same schedule as you and living with guys that have the same
Yeah.
schedule. Um, I think that once you kind of figure it out and how to work it, it's easy to balance social, school, and hockey.
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
good system to have. Like everyone should have or like find out what their system is and stick with it throughout college because you get off that system, like sure, there's times where you have more work than before, but like if you stay on that system and stay consistent, like you're gonna get things done. You're gonna enjoy the college experience more than you would if you were just all over the place.
Mhm. No, I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you after Stevenson, you went into University of Wisconsin Eau Claire. So what were those 3 years like, especially transferring from Stevenson to University of Wisconsin Eau Claire?
It honestly, I love Eau Claire. That it I will say this for the rest of my life. Those are the best 3 years of my life. I loved Wisconsin. I love the city. Love the school. Love the hockey. I just thought that Stevenson, for me, at the time, and still looking at it now, just wasn't the right fit for me as a hockey
Yeah.
program. And also outside of hockey too. I thought the school was good and everything, but really different than what I was used to from back home in terms of hockey and living. So I mean, I made a bunch of great friends there that I still talk to, but I think it was just time to kind of find something that I was more comfortable in. So I transferred. Luckily, I was able to have a good freshman year and play lots of games. So I was able to obviously go enter that transfer portal and
Yeah.
find a few schools to pick from. And I ended up picking Eau Claire. And like I said, I loved it. Definitely a lot different than Stevenson. I was walking into a situation where their goalie, he was an All American. I learned a ton from him because being at playing every game pretty much almost at Stevenson to backing up was definitely, especially in college hockey, when you're
Yeah.
backing up, you don't play a ton. Was definitely a bigger adjustment, but I think to this day that was the best thing I ever did for my skill level in order for me to get better. So yeah, I was able to go there and learn lots over my years there. So
Yeah. And it's like it's nice to have like even though you want to play, of course, but like it's nice to have guys that you can look up to and like especially an all American. Like there's no
mhm.
one better to learn from than a guy that's literally the top of like the awards that you can get at college hockey besides like a national championship. But like even
Yeah,
like all Americans still up there and like you're just able to learn from a guy like that and like just be a sponge up there while he's around you and you're around him.
exactly. And I think it's just like a little bit of an adjustment period too,
Yeah.
obviously. Coming from Stevenson, I would say like most of the guys kind of came from like the EHL or USPHL kind of in those levels. And now I had 5 or 6 guys that had just transferred from Division 1 and played in the USHL and all. So like I would say majority of our team was like BCHL, NOL, USHL.
Yeah.
We had some good players, so it was a great group of guys and a really fun team. So
Yeah, that's awesome, especially since like Eau Claire is in a great spot. Like there's hockey, like all, especially college hockey, like all around Eau Claire.
mhm.
Like you have, I'm pretty sure Minnesota is pretty close to Eau Claire. Like you have Illinois, you have like Michigan, even. So it's just nice to have like a lot of like opportunity to like experience different things, and like the city's great there.
Yeah, it was a super fun city from student life to just regular living. It was a great city to live in. And then, like you said, like we're only an hour and a half from Minneapolis,
Yeah.
so not too far away. You could go in and like go to a Vikings game if you wanted to on Sunday or whatever. So it was a really fun place to live, and I really enjoyed the academic part of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, what are some of your favorite moments from college hockey that you're gonna keep with you forever?
Um, I would say honestly, probably my favorite year of hockey, as crazy as it sounds, was the year I probably played the least. And that was my first year at Eau Claire. And we had a really good season, and we got a bye in the first round of the national championship. And then obviously COVID kind of shut everything down. But
Yeah,
I would say like just that pure, just the from the group of guys to the memories on the ice and off the ice. Like I'd never been on a team so close before, and we just did everything together. That would definitely be like the highlight of like looking back on it. Probably no matter what happens in my hockey career here going forward, that will definitely be one of the better moments. And we won a tournament out in Plattsburgh that year too. That was a ton of fun. So I would just say that that kind of this year in general would probably be my favorite moment from Eau Claire.
yeah, and like just like being on teams like that are like super close. There's nothing better because you're just gonna go through a brick wall for any of them, and like just those close knit teams, like they win games, they win championships. So it's like it's good to be a part of something like that, especially with how close everyone is.
Exactly. And I think like you brought up a really good point. Like when you're a close team like that, like I feel like those close teams, that's how you win like that 2-1
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's just like they're not easy, they're
Everyone's
hard.
bearing
And
down for each other and just going to war.
exactly, like anybody would do anything on that team on and off the ice for all of us. So it was a great group of guys. And like I said, that's I know it's kind of hard to like generalize a favorite hockey memory in terms of like putting it in a full year,
Yeah.
but that whole season was just every day was incredible with those guys.
Yeah, there's always those times that stick out, and those are the ones that are gonna last forever, especially when you do have those memories. Even when you weren't even playing that much. You may have gotten like 4 games, but like you're still
Yeah,
enjoying every single moment, no matter what.
exactly. 100% agree.
Move on to junior hockey a little bit here. You spent 2 years of your 3 years eligible for juniors in the MJHL with the Virden Oil Capitals. So, what was your experience in Virden and just being able to get those 2 years of junior hockey under your belt?
I loved my time in Virden. Wasn't I had amazing belts when I was there. They were the best people in the whole world, and I still keep in contact with them to this day. And I loved playing. I had an awesome rink. They had just moved from Winnipeg. I was there in their fifth year. Was my first year. So the rink was 5 years old. It was awesome. We were getting like 1,500, 2,000
Oh,
a night in a town of 3,000. So
you're
that
gonna
was a
have
lot of
half the
fun.
population there.
Yeah, yeah. So it was awesome. Like it was kind of like my first time because obviously growing up and playing my hockey, my minor hockey in Calgary, and then even my grade 12 year, you don't really get fans, right? Like so like
Yeah.
you're just your parents and girlfriends or whatever. So it was the first time I'd actually been like playing in front of people. And it was so much fun. Like I said, we had a really good team both years I was there. And it was a really good experience, and I wouldn't trade playing anywhere else in juniors.
Yeah, and junior hockey, like you learn a lot from playing juniors, especially going from prep to or just jumping that next level. So what were like some of the biggest things you learned from your first year of juniors?
The biggest things hockey wise, kind of the same as going into college. Like the speed of it's quicker.
Yeah.
Like I said, again, you're not making those saves that sometimes you would in when you're in prep school. Um, and then I would say the physicality was a lot different, even like from being a goalie. You have larger guys in front of the net trying to move around your crease and guys banging away. But I just really say the speed, and then off ice was like that's when I really feel like I matured. Was in my first year of juniors. I never was an immature kid necessarily
Yeah.
growing up, but like that's how I figured out how to do everything on my own and figure everything out. And I think that was huge for me. Obviously being away from home, being 12 hours away, not easy to get to. So I was really, really lucky with my billet family. And yeah, I would say that really prepared me for the next year juniors and then college hockey as well.
Yeah, and like that's good that you got that experience, especially like billets. Like you never know what to expect going from youth hockey to junior hockey and getting that jump. So it's good that you got those good billets, and then just to be able to jump into like especially into like a physical game, like you don't like you learn a lot from those experiences because you got to find any which way you can to get sight lines on the puck and to be able to fight through those screens. So what was like a big thing that you learned from getting screened and having to find your sight lines?
Especially being like a smaller guy, I think like the largest thing I found was that you couldn't just like lock in on one side and just hope that nobody moves kind of in
Yeah.
that situation. Like you got to be looking up, down, around, through guys. Like you got to kind of just got to battle, moving your head around lots in the net and just trying to find that puck and still trying to stay square. I would say that was really the biggest thing, is it just like almost brings out another level of compete in you that I maybe thought I didn't have.
You're just like jumping around. Like I get that too. Like you're just jumping around, just trying to find your sight line, just going up, down, side to side, like whatever you can to get that puck to be able to see where it's gonna go and hopefully go just lean into to make a save or sometimes even get lucky to and the puck just hits you.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're able to somewhat find it and you're in good position, I mean, a lot of the time it just kind of hits you and you just get lucky. But yeah, I think like really just battling for it and then kind of just knowing where it's going to go, even through a screen.
Yeah, and like you play juniors in Virden. So like what was it like being in Virden? Like I'm sure that is like all Canadian cities are seem like they're so cool and like have like amazing views and everything. So what was the city of Virden like?
Yeah. So Virden, I mean, uh, town of 3,000, was an oil town in the prairies. So a lot of oil jacks and not a lot of scenic views, cold weather. So cold, windy, not a lot to do. You had Tim Hortons, A&W, Subway. It's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
it
not
wasn't
not a
wasn't a
lot to
ton to
do.
do. No, but
Yeah.
like I said, like in my opinion, those are the best places to play
Yeah.
junior hockey. It's
Yeah.
different when you're older and you're in college and you're playing pro, but when you're young and it's like you just want that feeling like when you're 18 years old, like you're in the NHL. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's the whole town's behind you and support, and you get lots of fans. And like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, and you probably go in the stores or restaurants, get noticed by everyone in the city. So that must be a pretty cool experience as well.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of weird when you're like 18 years old and you first move away from home and like people are recognizing you in public and you're like wow, like you know what I mean? Like, and looking back on it, it's kind of funny to think about that. Like you're just a 18-year-old kid playing junior hockey, and but it
The
was definitely a
best.
really fun experience. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. So then after or before juniors, you played prep, you played double A, and you played triple A those 3 years leading up to juniors. So take us through youth hockey. You played in you grew up in Calgary, Alberta. So what was youth hockey growing up for you, and then finding your way into triple A, double A, and then prep school?
Yeah, youth hockey for me was great. I always seemed like every single year I pretty much did like I was on like the second team and the first team, the second team and the
Yeah.
first team. So I did that for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years straight of just doing that. And yeah, so I played in the northwest of Calgary for then, and then I moved out to just outside of Calgary into like the Springbank area. So I played for Springbank for a bit, and then kind of weird how it works in Calgary for like double and triple A is each quadrant of the city has teams, but because I was outside the city in the southwest, for some reason they group you into northwest.
Uh,
So I actually, so I ended up being part of the Northwest organization. Didn't make double A my first year at Bantam. Played like house hockey,
yeah.
and then my second year made double A, and then from there kind of stuck around and played minor midget my next year, and then midget double A, and then that's when I left to go play in the CSSHL for IHA, which they are now.
Yeah, so like what was that development period like between those 4 years when you're playing triple A, double A, and then going into prep where you're playing house as well? It's like just that development period throughout those 4 years.
I think they were big. I think for me, I've just like physically matured through growing
Yeah.
and strength. I was always pretty small growing up, so I finally started to grow kind of in midget there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I finally peaked at 5'10", but I was able to. I think it was just like growing, and then each year just playing with older guys and just kind of getting used to their shots and the level of play and whatnot, and just slowly progressing. I definitely didn't have the easiest route. Never really being like that guy that's like a
Yeah.
lock for AAA and playing there both years, but I just love to play hockey. So I
Yeah.
just kept going and kept going, and lots of ice off work, or on ice and off ice work with goalie coaches and strength and conditioning, and I was able to kind of get there. So
Yeah. So and like it's the best sport in the world. So you just got to go out there, have fun, and just like what were some of your favorite memories from youth hockey that you remember? Like whether that be playing on the pond, just when you first started playing goalie and you're 5 years old, you get lit up for 10 goals, and then the next day you have a shutout. Like what are some of your favorite memories from youth hockey?
yeah, I mean, I have great memories. I would say like one of my when I was playing minor midget, we had a trip to Arizona, and that was a ton of fun. I still remember that. That was awesome. And then, like you said, just all those small memories of being 5, 6 years old and just like looking up and like trying to fight back tears. And there's like 50 but
Yeah.
in 15 goals. And then like the next day you get a shutout, and it's like, oh, I love hockey. Like, definitely that. But I would say honestly, it's just all the friends I've made throughout the years that I still talk to. And if I played with you when I was 5, or I played with you when I was 24, it's
Yeah.
it's honestly that's what really the biggest thing for hockey for me has just been like the life lessons and everybody you meet along the way.
Yeah, and the hockey world's such like a small circle that whether you play with someone 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and you just hit them up one day and like it's like you never even left them, or like it's just back to the old days. Like it's such a small circle, and like everyone knows someone that you played with, that you played against. So it's just it's crazy to just think about it and just realize how small everything is.
100%. Like I can go to guys on my team that are almost 10 years older than me, and I could be like, oh, like, do you know this guy? And like they do. Like it's kind of crazy. Like it's such a small world because everybody plays with each other. There's at a
Yeah.
camp with somebody or trained with somebody. Everybody knows each other. So it's a pretty small world.
Yeah, it's the best though. That's 100% true. It's the
Hmm.
best sport in the world, and you get to meet the best people in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, but to cap this episode off, like I went on Instagram and asked people to send in questions that they have, and we have two or three. So the first one's, how long have you been playing hockey for?
I've been playing hockey my whole life, pretty much ever since I was able to walk, I could skate. So I started playing like organized hockey when I was 5. And nobody wanted to be a goalie on the team, and I did. So I've pretty much been playing goalie my whole life. So it's been about 18, 19 years of goalie now.
There we go. We love that, and like it's just like when you first started playing goalie, you love the position then, and you love the position now.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing's changed.
Oh yeah. But the next question is, what's your favorite part of Binghamton?
It's got to be the fans.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even. I've never been a part of an organization like this or anything like that. Like our rink fits like 46 or 4,800, and we're almost
You
packing
guys had
it.
like
Almost.
4,100 the other day too. It was nuts.
Yeah, and like it's yeah, we get quite a bit of fans. And then even outside the rink, everything, the support and is amazing. It's pretty cool. like just going around town and just like seeing somebody wear your jersey or something
Yeah.
like that. Like it's a pretty cool feeling and a good experience. So I definitely have to say the fans.
It's the small things in the world, and that is like a big thing that just takes it all to like a whole new level.
Exactly.
And then this guy, he was your goalie partner. Let's see if we you can figure who it is. But he said ask him about the post practice sauna and how it's the key to his chiseled body.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's Joe.
Nope.
Is it Owen?
Nope.
And he was my goalie partner?
Yeah. He
Was it
he got
Cantor?
Paulie.
Oh, it was Polly. Oh, Polly. Yeah, we would every single day after practice. So at one point we had me, Owen, Shep, and Polly here. And every single day after practice, me and Owen and Shep would go for a steam. And we were convinced we were gonna have six pack by the end of the year. It was just practice and steaming.
We
Oh,
gotta
that's
love that
funny.
though. The
Yeah.
sauna and the steam room, like there's nothing better than that than getting a
Nothing beats.
post practice session right after.
Oh, it's the best. It's even sometimes when I show up in the morning, I'll just go for a quick one just to kind of loosen up, but nothing beats some post practice.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh, that's
nothing at all.
awesome.
Yeah, he was like, ask him if the post practice sauna is the key to his chiseled body. He'll get it, and he just laughed.
Yeah, no, I I definitely get it. I tell him every day it was going to be the key to success.
That's unreal. And then we got one final question. It's not really a question, but Fitzy said, "I love Riley."
Oh, Fitzy, he's the best. Well, I love Fitzy, so
Yeah,
he's one of the
he's from Illinois, so I've skated with him over the summer. He's a beauty for sure.
yeah, he's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my whole life. Like he's somebody that I'll definitely never stop keeping contact with. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
He's a special kid. I love him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But Riley, thank you again for coming on the show. I want to wish you the best of luck going forward with the rest of the season. And this was a lot of fun. So you're definitely welcome on the show anytime.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. This was lots of fun.